everyone, I just wanted to put this clip at the beginning of this video about sunchokes, just to kind of just cover the main points really quick before getting into the cooking of it. Number one, sunchokes are pretty awesome. I prefer them much more than potatoes. They do take a bit longer to cook, and I usually prepare them with like an acid boil, basically by thinly slicing them and filling it up with like a pot with water, and then put in some lemon juice. And I'm sorry if I keep getting distracted. My cat's doing something weird, but no, they're amazing as long as you plant them in a place where you don't mind disturbing the soil. Because when you pull them out of the ground, you'll have to dig around to get the tubers out, and you can leave them in the ground for as long as you want. If you wait until spring, they'll obviously resprout, and they multiply by about 10 times is what I've seen. So for each tuber, you'll get 10 times the amount of mass or weight, whatever. I've seen some people get a lot more. So in the cooking of them, I would say that they just take longer than regular potatoes. So I don't know if you've ever noticed that a potato, when it's from the ground, it's really hard, but as you cook it, it softens up. So that's basically how it is. The softer it is, the more the inulin has been converted into like a digestible polysaccharide, wherever the chemical terms are. And that's about all there is to it. So the thinner you slice them, the longer you boil them, then some lemon water, and then you put them in a regular dish, then it'll be fine. So here I'll move on to the rest of the video. We're actually going to preparing and cooking a dish with sunchokes. It looks like we got good lighting. Pretty bright in here. I'm going to try and clean up. Well, I'm going to try and cook these Jerusalem artichokes. I haven't actually looked up in detail what you're supposed to do. I think there's a boiling process that you have to do. I'm going to look up the chemical that is supposed to cause, like, what would you say, a gas, basically. Something like ferment, or I don't know. I'll look up and I'll get the actual, the legal terminology for it, scientific terminology. But I just wanted to show you my process of cleaning them up. And I don't know if you can see that brush. Yeah, that brush behind me is what I'm going to use to kind of simplify the cooking process, or the cleaning process. And then I'll more than likely get them boiling up. And we'll look into like whether I need to chop them beforehand, or what the process is there. And the ultimate goal is I have some leftovers of peppers, mixed bag of like frozen vegetables, corn and peas and stuff like that, that I'd made earlier. So I'm hoping I can just prepare these, boil them, and then they'll end up being sliced, and then I'll just throw them in with those leftovers and put them in the stove for a little bit. So I just wanted to put this on here because I don't really see much on YouTube about cooking Jerusalem artichokes, so it should be pretty quick. And hopefully, it's already a minute and a half. Hopefully I'll keep it under 5 minutes. Alright, thank you. I'll be right back. Well, I said thank you at the end there, but we'll move on here. So I just filled this up. I'll rinse all these soap suds down, and I'll just take a brush to, I know I only have one hand, but you can see obviously how this will make it easier to clean up. These will snap off. I don't know if I can show you with one hand them snapping off. I kind of showed you in an earlier video. Yeah, with one hand I can't really do it. But the knobs or whatever, they will break off pretty easily. But it's tough like a ginger root. I mean, it's supposed to be similar to a potato, but it's tough like a ginger root. So I'm going to clean these up. And then I'll dump them in here, get them rinsed out again. I'll probably go back and forth just because there's a lot of dirt in there. And it just depends on how much I need to cut it or break it apart in order to make it manageable. Did some research, and there's some sources say that you can boil them for so many hours. This and that. Some people really recommend that you wait until like after your first hard frost to make sure that the plant is stopped drying. And these are just comments from a couple of different websites that once the plants were dormant, the inulin is what a human can't digest. It's INULIN, and that's what makes I guess there's bacteria in your digestive system that will eat it, but you don't really digest it, so it causes methane, and that's why it hurts. So There were two other, there was like a acid hydrolysis is what they called the cooking method. And you, basically if you use a vinegar, well, an acidic compound, like vinegar or lemon juice, and you boil it in that, that will convert it into a digestible chemical, whatever. And this is all stuff that you can look up yourself. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut all these. They're all cleaned up now. I'm going to cut them into small slices. And then I'm just going to put them in a pot. I'll put in enough lemon juice to cover them. And I'll boil them. And then I'll mix in that with the rest of my food and throw it in the oven for about 20 minutes. And we'll see if I have even more gastro pain, similar to what I've had the last couple of days. But it's worth the risk because I planted a lot of these and I have high hopes for them, I suppose. So, all right, let me get to slicing and I'll show you when it's boiling. Just another thing, just a gee whiz, all the dirt and stuff that ended up coming off of that, I'm gonna put in my little, that's my home compost. I use that, and then I have a bigger one right here that I use for compost, stuff like that, so scrapes, food scraps and whatnot. So anyways, I just wanted to show that because it was pretty important. It's kind of speaks to using, not wasting anything. Instead of just rinsing all that down the drain, I can take all that, which has millions of bacteria, and get this jump started. And then over time, I'll add more stuff in there to break down. And when I put this in to that bigger bin, and then I put that bigger bin into my compost heap, that could actually jumpstart. If that compost is kind of stalled, it'll jumpstart the process. So I have gotten all that I'm going to chop up, and I still have all of this. And remember, this is just from 2 plants, and I'd given away like, I don't know, a handful of them before. So this is just from 2 plants, and I'd planted 2 tubers for one and 2 tubers for the other, and I already replanted those places with 2 more tubers. So it's just amazing what 4 tubers has been able to grow. So we're gonna get this in a pan. I just gotta wash it real quick, or get some lemon juice in there and let it boil up, and then I'll add my leftovers and we'll see what it's like. We've got these boiling for about 5 minutes now. I'm gonna drain out this lemon water, put in, it would just be inconceivable to fill up that amount of space with lemon juice. So I would estimate the amount of lemon juice I put in there at 1/4 cup, and then the rest was just filtered water. So I'll drain all this, and then I'm going to put it into a pan with some other vegetables and stuff like that, and I'm going to get it in the oven. Alright, here's the meal that I made. As you can see, them's right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's drew some artichoke, sunchoke, whatever. So there's plenty of sunchoke. Well, we'll eat it and see if our little lemon boil worked to reduce gassiness.